Woeful. Absolutely woeful. There's no excuse for that performance. None at all. That's one of the worst performances I've seen of the season. That's one of the worst performances I've seen in many seasons. It's one of the worst performances I've seen out of a Leeds United team. It's disgraceful. I'm embarrassed. I knew it was going to be bad when we reached halftime. It was 2-0. But we've seen Farke get a response out of these players before. To come out in the second half and play like we did after the first half we had, it's criminal. It's criminal. I'm not going to give intros. I want to apologize for the background. As you can see, I'm in the middle of a move. The camera's not quite set up right. The lighting isn't quite set up the way it needs to be. So the production quality of this has gone down. But listen, we don't care about that right now. We could go through individual performances. We could do that. We could spend time. I am never going to get on this channel. I want you all to understand something. I'm not a Leeds United fan for the fun of it. Like I've suffered with this club as well. I've been a Leeds United fan since 2009. That's not as long as some of you or many of you. And it's not about comparing how long we've been in the fan base. My whole point is I'm not here to present my opinions in order to tell you all I told you so. That's not what I'm interested in doing. I will never come on this channel or on Twitter or whatever the case may be and feel good about being right about an opinion that depicts us as losing or playing poorly, right? I'm not, that's not what I'm going to flex and say. I'm not interested in that. I'm not happy when I'm right and we play poorly. So I just want to put that out there right now. We're going to talk about the entirety of the team today. We're going to talk about Daniel Farke today. But I have to tell you, with a goalkeeper like Illan Meslier, I'm not saying that's why we lost, but with a goalkeeper like Illan Meslier, I have no idea how you expect to contend at the top level in this league. I don't know how you do it. It impacts everything. If you're a defender, you're not confident that he can make routine saves, that he's not going to be way off his line. These are bothering me. I'm taking these off. It disrupts the way you defend, the way you position, what you go for, what kind of challenges you try to put in, what kind of balls you try to win, where on the pitch you do it. And to be honest, when you have a goalkeeper like that behind you, it impacts the way everyone plays. Illan Meslier is not the reason we lost today. We lost 4-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. We lost 4-0 to QPR. I want that to sink in perhaps the most important match of the season. We've lost 4-0 to a relegation-threatened club. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. It's one of the worst performances I've seen all season. It's one of the worst matches I've seen by a top side in the championship, in the whole league this year. Trying to organize my thoughts right now is difficult because I know normally my thing is I come in, I try to give you all some interesting data points that will punctuate home certain aspects of the match that you've probably already seen, but it gives you some data grounding. Not going to do that. I haven't prepared that. This is a gut feeling. All right, David, don't let the door hit you on the way out, buddy. Drivel. The fact of the matter is Leeds United are one of three things. They're either as good as we think they are and underperforming at the worst possible time for a variety of factors, or they're not as good as we think they are players-wise, or Farke is not as good as we think he is manager-wise. It's one of the three. Either Farke is what we think he is and the players are who we think they are, and they've just hit an icy patch in the worst possible time to hit it, or this team is not what we thought it is. And I think it's a little bit of both. Listen, when I look at the way our defense has looked so vulnerable in recent weeks, one of the things I was never a fan of, and again, this isn't about me saying I was right and somebody was wrong. We're friends that get together and talk about a team we love and a sport that we love, and that's it. Right? So that's all there is to it in terms of the opinions. We don't keep lists of what people said and bring it up and say, haha, you said this. It's not about that. My big concern with messing with the midfield pairing of Gruev and Kamara was that, yep, it's predictable. Yep, it's risk averse. But when you hold the ball for 75% of the match, you don't give up a lot of chances, do you? Messing with that midfield tandem, taking away that dual pivot and turning us more into a 4-1-4-1, which is what we've been playing with Archie Gray in the midfield, hasn't done us any favors. Defensively, we've looked very, very vulnerable. And part of the reason, in my estimation, is we're not controlling the match like we have been. I have no idea why Yoel Pirouz started this match. No idea. I don't know what Mateo Joseph has to do to get a start. Now, I was somebody earlier in the season where I said, listen, he's a young player. Let's not give him the keys to the kingdom. I said numerous times, I think he needs to prove more before he gets a start. I want to see how he does in the cup matches. He comes on against Chelsea, he plays really well. And in his cameo appearances, he'd shown that he was a threat. So obviously, in my estimation, that I think he merits a start. Now, I understand going with Patrick Bamford. Bamford was knocked up, excuse me, picked up a knock for this match. So it makes sense that you go with Joseph. No, he goes with Pirouz, who's looked pedestrian at best for most of the season. And when it's time to make substitutions, it's like Farke just throws spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks. Just put on a bunch of forwards and push them forward as if that's going to generate chances. So our central midfield is weak. Our forwards, the connectivity in the attacking group. Look, I'm not going to dig out. Crescencio Somerville had an excellent match against Middlesbrough. And, you cannot put all your hopes and dreams for promotion on one player. And yeah, he was ineffective today, but honestly, the entire front attacking group was. I'm not going to dig out Somerville today, especially. I am going to say that we can say what we want about Jorginho, but it seems as though in order to nullify him is just let him get to the touchline and send a cross in. All you have to do is keep him in front of goal because chances are he's not going to hit it if he takes a shot. I told myself I was going to try to control how angry I got because it's Friday night going into the weekend. Pissed off is not how I wanted to do this. But I mean, to lose 4-0 to QPR, it's unconscionable. And what was the strat? Can someone tell me what Farke was trying to do with his substitutes today? Somebody tell me in the chat. I'll look. I'm not here saying Farke is responsible for the loss singularly. I think the players didn't show up, and I think Farke mismanaged the game. It's a mix of the two. So this is not just about pointing the finger at one person, but somebody please tell me, because this is me saying I don't know. I don't know, guys. Tell me in the chat. What was Farke doing with the substitutions? What was the strategy? Tell me in the chat. What was he doing with the substitutions? I'm not saying he did the wrong thing. I truly don't understand what he was trying to accomplish with the substitutes he made. Was it just send forwards into the match and hope they score a goal? Is that what it was? I truly don't know. I truly do not know what he was trying to accomplish with the substitutions. Get your comments in. I want to hear from you. Truly, I want to hear from you because I am having a difficult time seeing the forest through the trees right now. Let's just put this in context. In our most crucial run in the season, we have lost to QPR 4-0. We've been beaten by teams that we should beat. We were shocking against Blackburn. We were shocking against Sunderland. And we were shocking today against QPR. And by the way, I know we got the result against Middlesbrough, but we were bad in that match. We weren't good. I didn't agree with anybody that said we looked good. I didn't agree. Gonna get to some of your comments here. It's hard for me to disagree, Chris. Statistically, see, I'm even using words that don't make sense. This is me when I can't think. I'm annoyed. I'm really angry about this. technically we can make it into a playoff, but and technically, I mean, we're in a playoff spot. So technically, we should just say, hey, okay, well, maybe we're going to be playoffs, and we just wipe the slate clean, new season, and just win those matches. But man, with a performance like that, it's really, really hard for me to feel optimistic about that. Really hard for me to feel optimistic about that. And especially because, look, overall, in terms of getting a squad to play the way he wants them to do, getting a squad to play the system he wants, get them to the level of fitness he wants, and then manage the changing room, it seems like Farke has been really good. Is he going to be the kind of a manager you want in a 1-to-1, like a 1 or 2 match playoff? I don't know. So far, he showed me probably not. All right, let's get to some of your comments. Mark, thanks for being a member, by the way. Really appreciate it. Everybody, please remember to like and subscribe. I know it's hard to like content like this because we're all angry, but if you want channel memberships, we try to do things for you, and we really appreciate the support. Mark says embarrassing again. Yeah, 100%. Juan, the man with the inside scoop, says, hug me, Gabe, and tell me everything's going to be all right. Juan, I can't do that. Callum, this is a great question. I don't know what the strategy was. I don't have an answer for that. I don't. Night out in the hall would make me feel better. I can't possibly feel worse, can I? Huh? Joe says we haven't looked good in a long time, even on that long run before the playoffs. We looked poor against Millwall, etc. Yeah. So here's the thing. I will not rewrite history and retroactively say. I mean, we went on a historic run. But to your point, there are matches we played against really poor teams where you're thinking something's missing with this team. And the guys on the debrief with me, they just said we haven't clicked into the full gear, and I bought into that and I believed that. I agreed, but part of me was like, I wonder if we can. I wonder if we even have that gear, if it's the myth of a gear. Lorcan says, Farke is too stubborn to ever make sensible reactive decisions or changes during the match. Pirro left us with 0 hold-up play. Correct. Gruev was really poor, and Archie's burnt out. Disgraceful showing. Yeah, I also think that, look, I just wasn't a proponent of giving a 17-year-old the keys to the midfield and saying, please go out and win us matches. I just don't think it's a way you win promotion. I don't think it's a way you win anything. It's reckless. It's foolish. I understand if the 17-year-old is like a Messi level talent, and as good as Archie Gray is, I don't think anybody's silly enough to think that he's like, going to be the best player in the world in 2 or 3 years. So it's just too much pressure to put on him. We don't control the matches like we have earlier in the season. By messing with the midfield, you mess with the spine of the team. It's 2 things I don't think you mess with. I don't think you mess with center half pairings when it's working well, and I don't think you mess with the midfield pairings when it's working well. And I think most of our challenges about shots on goal and generating quality chances have been indecision and poor play from young players in the attacking third, and a system designed more for lateral play than it is for forward play. Everybody wanted to jump on Jesse Marsch when he did this, and rightfully so, but no one's talking about how narrow this team looks under Farke. It's difficult to penetrate a low block. I mean, it's difficult for everybody, but it's even harder when you narrow the pitch. And additionally, when you have young players, some of them who can be a little bit sloppy or inconsistent and mentally not always there, you need to play with a level of precision if you're going to go that way that we just simply don't have. And there is a blueprint to beat us. It's pretty easy to follow. Some terrible teams are doing it. Let's be honest. Sunderland this year are a bad team. Blackburn this year are a bad team. QPR are a miserable team this season. Did we beat Rotherham twice this season? No, we did not. So we've done a really bad job against teams that we should be smashing. All right, I'm going to try to catch up some comments here. Louis, thank you for the membership. Ellen Road going to be very toxic next weekend, assuming Ipswich are up by then. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Who am I to disagree? Maybe you're right. Pirro didn't offer anything today, Ty, that's for sure. Another night without sleep, Steven said. Yeah, I agree. Yep, agreed. But Lorcan, who do you play for Gruev? I mean, I suppose you can make the Kamara switch earlier, but he's sort of, I feel like Farke sort of managed himself into a corner here. Matt says Ipswich could lose out, but not like you'll never know. That's the thing. This division is crazy, but that's what I mean. we've been relying on the drop off of our rivals in order to, like, I tweeted that this week, like, this idea that we should just, keep watching the scoreboard and hope the other guys lose. We're missing opportunities here. This is 9 points that we should have had. 9 when I'm talking about Sunderland, Blackburn in this match. Let's just say we win 2, lose 1. That's 6 points. That's an automatic promotion spot. But, I'll say this. Let me say this. We will never have a team as talented as this team. At this level, we will never. At the championship level, it gets harder and harder and harder to assemble these teams. And there will be some players that if we stay in the championship, they will go. And it'll be very, very difficult to replace them. I feel sick. Yeah, me too. Side elite, me too. All right. I recall just a few weeks ago, this channel and other Leeds ones well kept telling us how Farke would be the difference over Maresca, McKenna, Oscar in particular. Well, I mean, maybe some people said that. But on paper, he's won the championship twice. So you'd think so, right? You would think so. But again, this isn't about anybody saying we were right. Maybe you saw it differently, and good for you. I hope you did. I don't think that if anybody thought we were going to drop this match 4-0 today, put it in the chat. At this point, it shouldn't be that hard to keep us in contention for automatic promotion. We shouldn't be relying on everybody to be as bad as us. Matt J says, corner so poor, never seen anything like it. Me neither. Now, I will say that this problem predated Farke, but it's his responsibility now. We've had him for almost a whole season. What's the excuse now? Yeah. Elias Chair played out of his skin, wants to come to Leeds. Listen, that's what I mean. Like, we're making guys like Chair look next level. I have to address this comment by Arthur. Ampadu 2 goals, Archie Gray 1, Kamara grew up. Yeah, listen, Arthur, the reality is you do not get goal contributions from center halves and deep lying midfielders at this level. Maybe you do occasionally 3 or 4. But if you take those 3 or 4, I mean, I haven't checked the statistics. I'm not sure how many goals Crescencio Somerville has, but even if he had a slightly above average season, our issue is not that we don't score enough goals. That is not the issue. We score plenty of goals. The issue is that we do not know how to play against teams that aren't interested in playing out and open with us. And that's a job for the manager. A1. A2, the players have to change the way they play. They have to move faster. They have to be less lethargic. They have to stop taking so much time on the ball in transitional moments so a chance gets snuffed out by our own indecision. Not trying to beat up on you, Arthur. People point this out all the time. Yeah, Gruev scored 0 goals. How many deep-lying destroyer midfielders score more than 1 or 2 goals in a season? It doesn't happen very often. If they do, they're not playing in the championship. Hussey King says Ipswich could very easily draw 1, lose 1. That said, we don't beat Southampton. Farke is an embarrassment. Got that so wrong tonight. I'm not going to say Farke is an embarrassment, but I got to say he's got to be willing to look in the mirror and say that maybe he was wrong here because you're right about getting it wrong. Jeez. Yeah, honestly, guys, I'm so sorry. This is like a buzzkill. I don't know what to say. Like, there's no analysis of this match that's going to make a difference. When you lose 4-0, it's not about one tactical decision. It's not about one substitution. It's not even about the way we line up. Top to bottom, this team played poorly today. The center halves had a bit of an off day today. I thought Junior Firpo played reasonably well, but not up to how he's played. Sam Byram did the best he could with somebody we got on a free. Archie Gray was not particularly good in the midfield. Gruev had his worst match in a Leeds shirt, in my opinion, today. Somerville was ineffective. Nanto was completely ineffective. Jorginho Rutter couldn't hit the broadside of a barn shooting. And Piru was completely anonymous, as Connor has said. So Yeah, and you put Mateo Joseph on, and just what's he going to do? Just chase? Like, I don't know what the plan was. Don't know what the plan was. No idea. Alan says, "Why is our last line of attack Jaffe? It's disgusting how we treated this. I don't agree that it's disgusting how we've treated him. I mean, he's been on loan before and didn't really make much of a difference. There are better attackers higher on the pecking order. If what you're saying is, though, that it's unfair to just throw him on in garbage time, expect him to save our season, yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Steven says Archie's burned out, should have rotated with Shackleton. I mean, the thing is, this is a broader point. Look at how many matches Jaden Anthony's played. What has he had in like 8 appearances or something like that? Something ridiculous like that. Jorginho Rutter hasn't scored since February. Other wingers have gone in and out of form. Dan James has gone down with injury. Nanto's been largely effective, but there are spells where he's ineffective, and maybe not today. I'm not going to dig him out today, and certainly not against Middlesbrough. But Somerville was having a run of poor form. Maybe it's a good time to get Jaden Anthony on the pitch. I don't know. Some really good players on the side just haven't been utilized, and that's where I will relentlessly criticize Farke, as his rotation has been poor. A lot of people laughed at me. Says Phillips wouldn't get into our midfield. If we walks into this, I will actually put a challenge on. But Tom, you have to watch who Phillips is. I think what people are saying to you is that Calvin Phillips is not the player that you remember. He hasn't been a very good player for a long time. If he came back and completely changed, then great. But if he was back to old Calvin Phillips, but he hasn't been Calvin Phillips. We have a midfield pair that do not score no matter who plays there. Ruter's very overrated, gives the ball away more than any other player. I don't think he's overrated by people outside of Leeds. I think the general press and media, I mean, he's a very, very good player. He's taken leaps and bounds ahead this season. He's just a very incomplete player, and he loses the ball a lot. So, yeah, 15, 16 assists, that's great. Those are goal contributions that are helped us get to where we're at. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I think that we as a fan base, I've heard people say that he's the best player on the team in the championship. Even about Somerville, like I agree that Somerville deserves player of the season, but like Oscar and I differ on this. He says that there's not even a discussion. He's by far, like country mile, best player in the championship. I don't think it's that exaggerated. I think he is the best player in the championship, but I think we do tend to overrate our players. All right, let's get more. Yep, Nate, this is a great point. QPR are not a good team. Yes, that's correct. They stink. QPR are terrible, but they wanted it more than us. They deserve to win. They thoroughly and completely dominated us today. They beat the tar out of us. Yep, and Farke just doubles down. 100%. Great comment. Totally agree. Sujal, let's get you in here. Thanks for the membership as always. How many times did Pirro actually hold the ball today? Yeah, he's great point. I defended this guy in the first half of the season. I did. I thought we were being a little bit harsh. But he has been found out long term. And that's why you wait. You see who players are over time. And over time, he's proven it. So I thought some of the judgments on him were a little bit early. Get Connor on. I'm not keeping him from the channel. He's not able to be on right now. But I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say. Connor by nature is a little bit more extroverted and shows his emotions more than I do inherently. We're just different that way. But I'll tell you what, if I'm this angry and this outwardly angry, I can't even imagine how Connor's going to respond to this, and rightfully so. IPW, thanks for being a member. Nowhere near good enough for the playoffs. I mean, right now we're not. Yeah, we almost have to look at it as a new season. Everything we've done up to this point doesn't even matter. Now it's about finishing strong and going into the playoffs with momentum. All right, let's get some more comments here, and then I'm gonna sign off in about 6-7 minutes. Rajiv agrees with Sujal. Yep, and I do too. Matt J says, worried best players will go if you don't get promoted. Yeah, this is a real possibility. There are some players that I think are not really immediately movable. Like I don't think a Premier League club is going to be in for Ethan Ampadu. I think we're going to have him for a little while, and that's great because at this level, he's excellent, one of the best midfielders in the championship. The fact is, we need center half support. Pascal Struck misses about 10 matches per year, and having Ethan Ampadu playing center half, where he's very good, but he's better as a central midfielder. Got to wonder where we'd be today. Steve Cooper still available. Big Annie. Also, thank you for the membership. Joel says, Elias Chair was pulling the strings the whole game. Couldn't get control of him. Totally outclassed. Yeah. By Elias Chair. I want you all to think about that for a minute. We got ragdolled by Elias Chair. Awesome. What a time to be alive. Ty, thanks for the membership. Don't think we will become world beaters in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, something drastic would have to change. IPW, Gray was standing alone on the right, and no one played the ball to him. Yeah. Just Cresswell. Yeah, I don't rate Charlie Cresswell, and I'm not going to pretend to now, Mark. We appreciate the membership in the comment, by the way. Rajiv says, can you explain our set plays if there's even a strategy? I can't imagine they don't work on this in training. I think these players just aren't very good at them. I think that must be what it comes down to. All right. We're approaching the halfway point of the hour. So get your comments in. I don't honestly, I have nothing particularly insightful to say. I'm just like you all. I'm pissed off. I'm a fan, guys. I know that most of you who follow this channel and follow our content know that we're not pundits. Like, Connor has a journalism background, but we're not on this channel to be journalists or official pundits or to try to pretend we know more than you do. We're just like you guys. This is why it's called the One Leeds Fan Channel. We're fans of the team. And most of what we do on the debrief or whatever, we're talking to you about something we care about. So right now, I don't have any deep analytical, like I haven't stepped back and said, let me analyze the data for this match. I'm sure I will before the debrief. So make sure you tune into that. Not just for that reason, but to hear us go back and forth, because I'm sure it's going to be heated, because none of us are going to be happy about this. I think the happiest thing that happened this week is that Brownie, manager over at Leeds United, managed to keep them from getting relegated. So congratulations to Brownie, and I mean that genuinely. I know my voice can sometimes sound sarcastic, but I truly mean that. He's a great guy, obviously big part of the channel. That's the best thing that's happened this week. Leeds United were dire today. I don't even know how to move forward with my weekend. It's, Gabe, give me a positive. A positive is that match is over, and we never have to watch that match again. I often go back and watch the matches a second time. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I cannot bring myself to watch that again. Cork, Ireland. I like the city of Cork, by the way. Could we not play Cresswell and move Ampadu up? The thing is, Cresswell isn't going to become a really good center half overnight, and he hasn't been in the team all season. So we set him up to fail no matter what. If he is what I think he is, he's not going to play very well. But even let's say I'm wrong. Let's say I completely misrate him, and Cresswell is an excellent center half. Even an excellent center half is going to have a difficult time coming into a team you've never played with all season in the biggest games of the year. It's just not fair to do to anybody. I'm going to get a few more comments, especially from the members. Really appreciate here. When everything in our attack is forced down the left side, it's easy to read and defend against. Only Leeds player trying to use the right side for Somerville. Yeah. Yep. Greg says, how can you say we score plenty of goals when we can't score a single goal against a team battling relegation? Greg, this is a great point. It's more of a systemic failure than it is individuals. We score plenty of goals as a team. Go look at the data. We score lots of them. But to your point, and this is what I think you're driving at, when it comes to teams that play us a certain way, this manager has not been able to find a way through. Yeah, the backdrop as I've moved and stuff still in boxes. Like, this is not a computer chair. I'm sitting up so my back doesn't give out. About 2 more minutes left in the stream, everybody. Get your comments in. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you here on the One Leeds Fan Channel. Connor Gate. Basically, Connor's underneath these floorboards. Connor's going to be creating other content, guys. He'll be reacting to this, I'm sure. I think he may be at the match today. I don't know. He might have gone down to Loftus Road. Who cares about what you or Connor feels? Well, thank you, Granville. Really appreciate that. But thanks for the algorithm stuff. Appreciate it. Boosting the channel, even though you clearly hate us. That's fine. Thanks, though. I blame the 49ers. No investment in January. Come on, this can't be real. This can't be real, BPCY. This cannot be real. If do you not think the team is good enough? We're not deep enough. We have Jaden Anthony sitting collecting dust. You don't think we're good enough? You don't think we have enough players? No, come on. That's outrageous. This has to be a troll. I've taken the bait. Has to be a troll. All right. Just wrapping up here. I'm not going to take the American bait. There's some comments in the Connor creating more paid for content. No, it's just we're not always all available all the time. You know, we don't do this. Anyway, I'm not even going to address this. This is silly. All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you jumping in. And look, I'm pretty despondent. This is me when I gotta get this comment off. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. This is supposed to be a stressful breakout season. Well, like I know some of you think that, but he was middling for a bad Millwall team, so I'm not sure where we would get that. Listen, you all, this is me when I can't think. This is me when I'm just really pissed off. I'm feeling just the way you're all feeling right now, angry, despondent, and not very optimistic. So I'm going to try to have a good night. I'm going to try to go out, have some drinks, and pretend like this never happened until we talk about it on the debrief. So thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate you all tuning into the One Leeds Fan Channel. We'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.